Packers versus Eagles. Eagles are 4.5-point favorites. Total sitting around 46.5. Kind of a weird situation between both of these teams. I mean, Jordan Love, he had a little injury last week, had like his funny bone in his hand. Fully expecting him to play, but something to note at least. And then Jalen Hurts, he's still in concussion protocol as of today. So lots of weird stuff going on. He's been out for multiple weeks now, so it's a little bit concerning that he's not out of concussion protocol at this point. He's missed a lot of practice, so that's something to note as well. But I guess we're going to approach this game just in anticipation that both quarterbacks are going to play this game. So that's how we're going to break this down. We may try and decide. I mean, I have a couple takes about whether or not Jalen Hurts plays or doesn't play, but we'll certainly get to that as well. But BJ, a little more info on that. Eagles, they waived quarterback Ian Book today. So that's a good thing looking in the lens that Jalen Hurts is probable to play, if they're getting rid of quarterbacks. Because your emergency QB has to be on the 53-man roster. So if they're getting rid of him, then I fully expect Jalen Hurts to go, even though we haven't really heard any news yet. So again, that's kind of why we're operating under that assumption. But nonetheless, these teams, they faced off at the very first week of the season, BJ. That was the Brazil game. Jordan Love actually got hurt. He hurt his groin in that game near the end, but played most of the game. So, we got a good sample size there. Eagles took the win there in a close one, but a fun one. So they finally get to rematch this week in the wild card. It is in Philly, at home for them. Packers are on the road. They did lose Christian Watson to a season-ending injury, so another injury for the Packers offense. It's unfortunate. Jair Alexander is still looking unlikely to play, so that really doesn't bode well for their defense. But no longer talking about the injury front. I think we covered our ground there. This game, man, I really love both of these teams and what they do. But to be totally honest, it feels like the Eagles have kind of found themselves lately. Mm-hmm. Especially with Jalen Hurts out, even before he was out and after he was out, it feels like the offense was doing really well. And the defense is really picking up well, especially with their young guys in the secondary, led by Cooper DeJean. So a lot to be excited about for this Philly team. But if you look over at the Packers team, they're hit or miss. And I hope that, people really understand what I'm saying there, because, one day you have a Packers team that can really open the floodgates on the offensive side of the ball. You have Jaden Reed, who is, taking handoffs for 50. So, and then Josh Jacobs, he's carrying the load. He'll have 3 touchdowns in a game, but they're hit or miss. They're kind of a roller coaster to watch. So my concern is they're not as consistent enough on the offensive side of the ball, but they certainly have every capability of blowing the game open on the offensive side of the ball, especially with Matt LaFleur calling plays. So before I get into any of the numbers and anything else, BJ, this game, assuming that both quarterbacks play at Philly, it's a really tough place to play with the Packers and how they've played. They're 0-5 against teams with 11 or more wins. Can you be confident in them going in and stealing a win, or are you still concerned? As concerned as I am.
Yeah, I think that the Eagles are definitely surging at a good time. Obviously, we have to assume Jalen Hurts is going to play in this game, and the Packers, I am concerned. I really am. Losing another weapon. It seems like all season they've kind of, their offense is kind of ridden on the back of their run game with Josh Jacobs, and the Eagles have a really good defensive front. The Eagles are at home. The Eagles are multi-dimensional on offense that can really, put up points, especially, Jair Alexander isn't there. They're healthy, which the Packers are not. I would be very worried if I was a Packers fan here. Mm-hmm. I think the Eagles are aligned a lot better to take this win than the Packers are.
Yeah, I will say this too, because if you're the Eagles and say Jalen Hurts hasn't practiced much or he doesn't play at all for some reason, you would fully expect them to go full-blown Saquon in this game. Saquon's been phenomenal. He can break the game open, even against stacked boxes. But the Green Bay defense, they have been promising on that front, guarding against the running game. 7th overall rushing yards per game allowed, 4th overall rushing yards per attempt allowed. So that speaks something. This defense is also very much improved over the past 6 weeks or so. 4th overall in EPA per play. So I think that their defense, we don't really talk about Green Bay's defense that much because their offense, usually is the one that's really stealing the spotlight here. But their defense has still been efficient, especially in the run game. So if I'm a Packers fan or if I'm trying to make an argument for the Packers to win this game, that's certainly something that I'm circling because, I mean, if you look at this Philly team, they've really leaned into the rushing game. They're just now getting their passing game going. And so that's something to be excited about if I'm a Packers guy. But again, it's going to be tough going into Philly. This team is only getting better. I mean, you have Devontae Smith healthy. You have A.J. Brown healthy. And then if Saquon's doing all sorts of Saquon things, Goddard's healthy.
Goddard's
and
back.
this offensive line, man, we don't talk about this enough. They're top 3 offensive line, even without Jason Kelce. And it's just going to be hard to stop that game. But if I'm the Packers, my sole number one focus or number one priority, I would say, not number one focus, would be just stopping Saquon, trying to force this pass game. We've seen this pass game have a lot of success. So it's like, we talk about this offense. It's like, how do you stop them? There's really no way to stop them. But if I were to be a gambling man and I were playing the Eagles, what I'm not going to do is let Saquon go crazy. Sure. Try and beat me beat me deep. If throw some 50-50 balls to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, while they're probably more 60-40, 70-30 balls for A.J. Brown, still, that's better percentage chance than letting Saquon run wild on your defense against the light box. Trust that number one running game, or top 10 running game, or running defense at least, and then see what you can do in the passing games. Yeah, I mean, I think this one's going to be all Eagles in my opinion. I think the Packers certainly bode well in a game like this, just due to their coaching and the fact that they've been here. Last year, we saw them get hot, and they almost went the distance to the big dance, but they just lost to the 49ers. But, maybe they get hot, maybe they don't. It's just, it kind of feels like they've lost some key parts at the worst times heading into the playoffs. So
100%.
Give me the Eagles here. I think that's one of my better picks of the week. I'm really confident no matter who plays quarterback, in my opinion, the Eagles are going to get this win. Their team is just built so well. I mean, even their defense is playing lights out. 3rd overall EPA per play, 2nd overall in success rate, playing phenomenal against the pass. They're only giving up 192 yards in the air and 5.5 yards per attempt. So that's all Eagles for me, man. I've made my bull case for the Packers, but it's really the Eagles for me, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that if Hurts is out and the spread moves, if you are a gambling man or woman, put even more on the Eagles. I mean, if Hurts is out, I mean, it's only 4.5 right now. It could move to nearly pick 'em. Just saying. Yeah, I like the Eagles.
Okay. Yeah, we're right there.